Hello and welcome to another update video about ADA. ADA has reached my price target from the previous video, the 50-cent level. So we take a look at that. It is currently going up nicely, even though it's far away from a level where we can be much more confident that we indeed are still in a bullish scenario. I'm still leaning carefully towards the bullish case, but as I said to you before, we expected rising prices at the moment, both in the bearish and the bullish scenarios, because both are just here. This bit is just the same wave count for both, or at least a very similar one. And in both cases, we did expect rising prices to around 49 to 50 cents. Now this level has now been reached. For anybody who traded this, of course, it's up to you, but you could start to think about profit taking, because we talked about that here around the 44-45 cent mark. Maybe not a massive increase, but within a few days, I think around about 10% is not too bad. So anybody who did that could now think to limit risk and either move up your stop loss or take some profits. But again, that is entirely up to you, because we could also very well be in a bull run here, starting of that, and move higher, even though I'm highly skeptical. And as I said before, ADA really needs to move above the 59.5 cent level to confirm that we are not in the bearish scenario. Because even in the bearish case, where we counted all of this as a wave 1 to the downside and then a wave 2 to the upside, the wave 2 could extend further to the upside. It can theoretically go all the way up to 59.5 cents. Now, I had a comment by someone who said the Elliott waves let us down in this case because both the bullish and the bearish case point in the same direction. Well, I don't think so. This is actually an opportunity. If the Elliott waves have certain confluence and they show us that in two main scenarios we are going up, that means it can be used for trading. That means that if in both cases it's pointing into one direction, so it can be used for trading. There is no contradiction. Yeah, at a certain point there is a junction, and here we need to see what the market does. But from here, where we started to count a 1 and a 2, the next probable outcome would have either been here the wave 3, or what we said in the bearish case, an A, B, and a C wave to the upside. So that's the direction we went. And now we've obviously approached here the 50-day moving average at 49.5 cents. That's what we're struggling with at the moment. And it could be for some people the right decision to take some risk off the table, because again, in the bearish case, which is not too unlikely, we will very soon see a sell-off. But though, even in a bearish case, we can climb higher. So it might be worth moving up the stop loss, for example. That's one way of doing it. Things like that, taking some profits, not all of them, and so on. It's a very difficult market at the moment to trade. It's a very difficult one, generally, because it's very choppy price action. A lot of people get surprised. A lot of people get caught out by the lower level wave patterns. And as I said before, the lower level wave patterns, they change a lot. That is normal. And they will change. They have changed. They are changing, because we are trying to investigate what kind of wave pattern we're in. But the higher level ones, they stay for a longer period. Because the lower level ones, they eventually confirm the higher level ones. So obviously at the moment we focus on the lower level wave count, as we are in a larger sideways range. I mean, we've basically been in this range, you could say, since May. And of course, it is then interesting just to see how this is developing. Someone also asked me, how do the Elliott waves deal with long sideways movement? Well, you can see it actually here, where basically from May to September, we have, for example, done a triangle pattern, then a wave 1 and a wave 2 with a long ABC. So it's just a subwaves which can then extend out, and you get long sideways movement. And while you get potential, for example, potential impulses to the upside, at some point you might have to revise them because the price just isn't doing what the initial pattern showed as potential. And so this is how it accounts for sideways movement. Triangles can be used for very long sideways movement, or we could get a series of 1-2 setups, for example, But this is currently what ADA is doing, yeah, climbing higher. In the bullish and the bearish case, we expected that. We have now reached the first level. In the bearish case, where we find stiff resistance, I talked about that in the previous video. So let's take a look at where we are. If we say, okay, from the low here, this was indeed a wave 1 and this was a wave 2, then we are moving higher here in a wave 3 potentially. In a wave 3, what was the target? We can calculate that again. And here we said, I think 50 cents or 50.2, 50.3. So we might get there, we might not. We got close enough for me to consider that as, let me just make that accurate. Here, yeah, we got close enough for me to say, okay, could very well be that the peak of the wave 3 is in. And we could now be ready, or at any point we need to be ready now for a retracement in a wave 4. So here, yeah, so at any point, if this was indeed the peak at 50.1 cent, then we would at least expect a move down to 48.6 or 47.7 cents. This is the wave 4 retracement zone, in an extreme case all the way down to 47, and then we should see a move up in a wave 5. This would be, though, the bullish case. In the bearish one, we would get rejected here and move down straight away. But again, as long as you are in an uptrend, you're in an uptrend. So I personally wouldn't just take profits if you're, let's say, a trader. You can look at things like here, the trend line. Such an ascending trend line could be used. If this is broken, you could take something off the table. As long as we stay above the trend line, we're following it, yeah. Because I don't know when this is over. The wave 3, obviously, the minimum requirements have been reached, I would say. And also, if we count this as an ABC, a corrective wave, which would be followed by a, let's say, a crash down. Also here, we have fulfilled the minimum requirements. Yes, it would be good to get to 50.3 cents, but in such a volatile market, I think we got there close enough. Nothing in the rules telling us that a wave 3 must reach the 1.618 extension. It is very likely it does, and often even overshoots it. Therefore, I wouldn't just take some profits. I would wait until this trend line is broken if you're doing day trading or swing trading, because otherwise you might exit the trade too early. And yeah, I think then afterwards in the bullish case, we would expect a wave 4 and then a wave 5 up. In the bearish one, we would go down straight away. And in the bearish one, we would cut below 47 cents, so below the 50% fib level. In the bullish case, we would normally avoid that, yeah, because in the bullish one, you would not expect the wave 4 to get below 47 cents. Well, it could, but it would be unlikely for a wave 4. And as soon as you get below here, 46.4 cents, which is the wave 1 high, you're basically invalidating that wave 4 completely, because a wave 4 must not get into the price region of the wave 1. So for now, yeah, focus further on higher until the trend line is broken. That is how I would play this. And anybody who's not watching the charts all day could, of course, take some profits. That is entirely up to you, of course. So let's take a look at the bearish count, because this is highly probable as well. Here, yeah, we've reached the target range nicely. We talked about that in the previous video. Looking at the Fibonacci retracements, and we talked here about an ascending wedge as well, to be careful. So we moved down in a wave 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in the bearish case, this would be a wave 2 retracement. It's a very shallow one, but at least here for ADA, it's getting now stronger. Some other coins are still making a very shallow retracement only. So from a bearish perspective, we would say that the move up here was a wave A, a wave B, and we're now in the wave C. The wave C is a 5-wave move, also here actually. So also here we would actually expect rising prices, but I mentioned in the last video, we've got here an ascending wedge, so it's time to be a bit careful. That might have shifted a little bit in shape, or we just had one fake out. But also here, yeah, in a wave C, okay, A, B, C. Also here you would actually expect a little bit of another top, let's say another top in a wave 5. Yeah, so this whole range could reach 53 cents. That is where I would find it very likely anywhere in this area to turn around, because this is generally what you would expect from a wave 2. The 38.2% fib level all the way up to the 61.8. Yes, it can go higher, but this is for me the most likely area where the wave 2 should peak and then will reverse. But again, a wave 2 can also go higher, but looking at the internals here, at the moment it wouldn't suggest that, but I'll keep you updated about this. So just be on the lookout for here potentially a wave 4 correction, actually also in the bearish count. But this is not guaranteed. These are the lower level wave counts. So we've already reached the higher level target area. So in the bearish count, we just need to be ready at any point in time for lower prices, because sometimes, you know, you might find them in here, the 3s and the 4s. So be careful. And ADA moved nicely. Yeah. And sometimes it's good to take some profits off the table. But again, this is up to you. And as long as you're in an uptrend, you're in an uptrend. But be aware, we have reached that green area here now, which would normally point for a reversal to the downside. And if this is happening, yeah, if we are going down from here, let's say we've reached the peak now, then we would look at the wave 3 to the downside, which would take us, let's say we peaked here at 50 cents. That should take us, first of all, to 32.8 cents. That would be, for me, the first target. That would be the 1-to-1 ratio for a wave 3 to the downside. In a much more bearish case, we would get to 22 cents, but personally, I don't see that. I think the 1-to-1 ratio is the first key target, you know, for the wave 3 here to the downside. And then we'll get a wave 4 and a wave 5, and then we've got at 30 cents, 29 cents, the 88.7% fib level. That will be another key level of support. Okay, and that's my update about ADA. So hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please hit the like button, leave a comment and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then please check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.